One of the questions I get asked almost daily now is how do I get more followers on social media? And if you go to Google and you type in how do I get more followers on social media, you will get over 300 million for search results. 300 million. So this is a big topic. It's something that has been covered well over 300 million times, and it's something that still comes up all the time because everybody wants to know how do I get more followers on social media? And it's just not something that's very easy to answer. So, we're going to go over a few things that you can do to get more followers on social media and kind of managing your expectation about what that looks like. In the social media realm, there are the people who just simply want the number. They want a high number. They feel like that changes the perception of their company, their business, and they're willing to really do anything they can to get that number, including buying non existent people to like their page. So, bots that go through and like their page, you can buy those on sites. Not something I support. It's not something I'm really going to go into detail about. If that's the direction you want to go, feel free to look it up and figure it out. Then there's the other people who maybe don't realize that the number isn't as important as they think it is, and they want to grow organically, but maybe they just don't know how. And so we're going to kind of focus on that one today and talk about what likes mean, what it means to have followers. So that's something I want to address a little bit, try to go as in depth as I can, and maybe answer some of the questions that you've had along the way. So I kind of relate social media to real life. There's some parallels there in how people interact, and it really comes down to basic human psychology for me. I think that's why I love it so much. It really gives you an insight into people and how they function. And so, if you look at having followers or having fans on social media the same way that you would look at having friends in real life, it'll change your perspective a little bit on what you're looking for and how you view those people and what you're willing to do to get them, right? So, growing up, you've probably experienced, either being the cool kid or being the popular kid or wanting to be that kid. And it's kind of the same thing on social media. We want people to want to be around us. But what we should really be thinking about is wanting those people to be around us for the right reasons. We want people that will add value to our lives, that we are feeling connected to, that we're getting a mutually beneficial relationship from. So it's not about a number. It's about, human connection and having that connection with other human beings. And so if we look at it from that perspective, it'll get us on the right track and we can kind of work with that a little bit more. And you have to want that though. And so that's kind of the thing is I will get people that say they want that and then they're focused on the number. And so it doesn't work. Either you really, really want to have genuine connections and you're willing to work for it, or you're focused on the number. So we got to kind of separate those two a little bit. So, how do you get more followers on social media? It's not really an easy question to answer. There's not one thing. If there was just one thing you could do, everybody would be doing it, everybody would have millions of likes. But here's the issue with social media and getting followers. Everybody on social media wants followers. So there's only a finite amount of people in the pool, if you will, and everybody's vying for that attention. So you have to do things that are going to give back to them, that are going to make them want to follow you. There's three things that you can really do that'll help. And it's not going to be an immediate turnaround. You're not going to immediately have 3 million followers. It's just not realistic. Although, you could get there if you're willing to put the time, effort, and energy into it. So let's talk about the 3 ways that I've found that are really effective in getting more followers on really any platform. So whether we're talking about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, anything like that, whatever your ideal platform is, I would try these things on one of them first and then see how that works, tweak it a little bit, and move on to the next one. The number one way to increase your engagement, to increase your interaction, to increase the amount of followers you eventually will get is consistency. This takes time and effort, so it's something people aren't always honest about. They'll say, oh yeah, I post on Facebook all the time, but when you look at it, they're not really consistent in how they're doing it. So what I mean by consistency is you are posting regularly on a regular schedule. So whether that's daily, a few times a week, or once a week, Whatever that is for you, you're doing it consistently. In being consistent, that doesn't mean that you have to post at the same time every day. It doesn't mean you have to post the same thing all the time. Mix it up, change the times. You know, you might not be connecting with your audience because you're posting at 7 a.m. and they aren't even out of bed yet. Maybe they're more of a 2 p.m. crowd. So kind of play with the times there, but be consistently posting and changing the times that you're posting and see what works for you. The most important point of the three, and probably the one that people think they're doing the most but really aren't, is um, being genuine and authentic. So what does that mean to be genuine and authentic? It's just like human interaction in real life. So we want people to be around us who want to be around us. We want to be kind. We want to take care of them. We want to give back to them. We want this mutually beneficial relationship. So in terms of social media and being genuine and authentic, it's giving people the best parts of you. That means interacting with other people, whether they're in the same industry, they are potential customers, they're in your local neighborhoods, they're part of your community, and sharing information that is really authentic. So, not being that 1982 door to door salesman kind of thing, really giving people, behind the scenes looks at what you're doing, sharing tips and information, and responding to comments, getting back to people, and creating this two-way street where people feel comfortable interacting with you and they don't feel like you're pushing things on them. Um, that is so uncomfortable and it's so obvious. We're so in tune with it now. People are so savvy. Keeping it real and just being human. And that's actually harder said than done when you're translating that online. We can be so human in person and we can have a sense of humor and then we're not always able to translate that. So what I tell people is do what comes natural to you. So even if you're selling, carpet cleaning services, if it's natural to you to be funny, tell jokes. That's okay. It's not about pushing your service or your product on people. It's about really pulling people in and, being yourself and getting them to like who you are and what you have to offer. That brings us to the content piece. Content is going to be another very, very important component of getting people to follow your page, because what they're doing is they're ultimately being drawn to the content that you're sharing. That content needs to be good enough for them to want to interact with it. And that can be done in a multitude of different ways. Everybody does it differently. And it really comes back to being authentic to what is true to you and what is true to your business. That could be photos or quotes. It could be videos. It could be just writing articles, things that add value to people. But what it is not, we are not pushing our product or service onto people. We are not forcing things on people. We are not constantly barraging people with images of our product or our service. One of the things that I do a lot is I'll offer tips or try to give people information. And I think that is, it's mutually beneficial in that they get a little inside look at what I do and they get a little bit more information that's helpful for them. And then, I get the feeling of knowing I'm helping somebody, and then people are following me because they want that information. But maybe you sell coffee cups for a living. Telling people about the process of how the coffee cups are made, or giving them a behind the scenes look of it being made, and it's something that maybe they've never seen before that's really interesting for them. And so that is giving something to them that they may not have and that they would connect to. Like, wow, that's so cool. I mean, I've never seen a coffee cup be made before. So if you look at it from that perspective, instead of looking at it from how do I get people to follow me so they buy my product or buy my service, we're humans selling to humans. So we got to remember that when we're dealing with interactions, whether they're online or in person, we really want to treat people the way that we would want to be treated, the way that we would want our family members to be treated. And that translates, across everything that we do in our businesses and our lives. And so if you're watching this, obviously you're looking for some helpful information. And I hope that that brings you to a place where you understand, okay, well, this is not going to be easy. It's going to take some time, but at least I have the tools now to go ahead and start getting followers, and give yourself permission to be okay with not having 1 million followers or 100,000 or 1,000. Be okay with where you're at today and make a commitment to keep posting, being consistent in your posting, and growing that slowly, because even as slowly as it's going, the people that are following you want to be following you. They're more likely to buy your product or service and tell their friends about what you're doing and create a network for you that you can lean on. That won't happen if you're buying followers or just getting people to follow you arbitrarily. So keep that in mind. I hope that this helps and you got some information. But as always, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or on my blog. Leave a comment, ask a question. I will personally respond to you. And feel free to sign up for my email newsletter. I try to do some put some cool information, give you guys some cool swag. About once a month, I try to give away a piece of swag or something fun for my followers and my fans. So I appreciate you guys so much. I hope that you learned something from this, and leave me a comment with any questions you have and I'll get back to you. All right. Have a great day, everyone.